Today was a big day, maybe the biggest of this growth cycle. And man, did we get a result? We're going to break into that. David Schwartz really breaks down two paths forward to bring staking to the XRP Ledger. And I got some stats for you here tonight going over these ETFs that are coming out for XRP. And what a game changer they'll be. Wait till you see this information. There's only one way to do it, and that's just to do it. So let's get into it. Again, XRP Staking, Two Big Ideas here by David Schwartz, current CTO. He's still the CTO now of Ripple. And he outlined two possible staking models that could reshape decentralized finance and really the XRP ledger itself. Now, the first option here, I had to kind of find similar blockchains. They're not exact. This will be its own architecture, but if we think about it, it would be kind of similar to what we see with Ethereum, where we have the beacon chain, the staking layer, and the execution layer, or Cardano, the stake pool incentive plus the dual layer architecture, kind of similar to that. This dual layer would look like an inner layer, 16 validators chosen by stake, slashing and staking incentives, and the outer layer, the current XRP ledger validators, no staking. They would oversee amendments. They would police the inner layer. And the goal would be to incentivize long-term validators without killing XRP Ledger's original design, speed, and trust. So it's a proven model. This would be adding to that, of course, with another layer here. Now, option two, we wouldn't have any necessarily staking. We would use ZK proofs, keep current XRP Ledger consensus exactly as it is, and use transaction fees to reward generation of zero-knowledge proofs for secure validation without trust. This is similar to Zcash, I guess, would be the closest thing that I could come up with. And it would add cryptographic utility without rewriting the entire protocol. Of course, it would produce fees, and that's part of it. Like when we look at this, if we're going to bring staking to the XRP Ledger, which I said yesterday, it looks like they want to do for sure, because we had David Schwartz laying in. You had Brett Garlinghouse. You had Mayuka. You had the head of one of the head developers at RippleX. Like, this is going to go forward. And the question is, where's this going to come from? Are we going to inflate the supply? Are we going to add some new fees in here for certain things like maybe zero-knowledge proofs? We're going to have to really work through this. But it's interesting. We got a little bit more of possible paths forward here. Personally, what I would like is option one, the dual layer system here. I think is the better way forward, but we will see. These zero-knowledge proofs, would that generate enough transaction volume, enough fees to really make it this a big deal? I don't know. You let me know down below what you think. But I like option one, this dual-layer consensus. I think that could be the ticket here. We'll see. We'll get a lot more information as we go forward. We've seen this before. They kind of throw it out there, let people mull over it, then give a couple design options. And again, more discussion, more voting, more, this is going to take a while. This is a big rethinking of the XRP ledger, but it could be one that changes things forever. Now, I saw someone here say, this is Itachi, says, when the ex-CTO of the XRP ledger is having an idea about DeFi on XRPL, it sounds to me that Flare was a blunder. No confidence that Flare would be the oasis of XRP ledger DeFi. Now, that's one way to look at it, of course. But remember, Flare is its own entity, right? And it's bigger than just XRP Ledger. It's going to incorporate a lot of different blockchains. It's this blockchain of data and artificial intelligence and all sorts of big things. The way I would look at it is David Schwartz is looking over, seeing the success that Flare is having and the utility that they're building and saying, you know what they're doing means something. And we want in on that. We want to have some of that value accrue on the XRP Ledger itself and not just over on Flare. I would look at it totally different than what Itachi's saying. I really think that it's like, hey, this is successful. It works. It's on the right path, and we want to have our own solution. That's just my personal outlook there. Let me know what you think down below, though. Now, this is the big one. Bitwise is going to be launching tomorrow. Its ticker is XRP. How cool is that? That's going to literally, you'll be able to go to your brokerage account, put in XRP, and you can buy this spot ETF. And Bitwise, of course, has a lot of relationships with family offices, so a new class of investor that previously probably did not invest in this space, or at least in XRP. They probably, if they have any crypto exposure, it's probably just Bitcoin and Ethereum, if anything. And they say it's a big step forward for XRP, the world's third largest crypto asset, which aims to reshape the market for global payments and really a lot more. Again, we've moved beyond simply payments. That's a big part of it. It always will be. But it's really, DeFi and the central trading hub. There's a lot going on here. To mark this historic moment, we're hosting an X Live space. Joel Katz, Matt Hougan, and Eleanor Terrett. So you can see this is quite a bit bigger than what we saw with Canary, of course, and they'll be discussing the wild journey to today, why XRP, what this move means for the XRP Ledger, how TradFi and global payments are changing the future of digital assets, and what's ahead for Ripple. So this will be a big event, and we see that right here. Let me pull this down so you can take a look at it. Matt Hougan, David Schwartz, and Eleanor Terrett. This will be a good one. And this should be a really big launch. So we have Bitwise, and to my understanding, on the 24th, we will see Franklin Templeton here. Now, Anders says the following: how much assets under management do issuers of these spot XRP ETFs actually hold? To put things in perspective, Franklin Templeton has 1.7 trillion assets under management. And you compare that to Canary Capital, that's under $1 billion. So Canary Capital had the most successful ETF launch of 2025 using XRP, and that's how small they are. They have under $1 billion in assets under management. What do you think Franklin Templeton's gonna do, man? It ain't gonna be no joke. I saw this post by Chad here, and he says XRP ETF fund 1-year projections. We see Canary could have as much as 1.8 billion XRP, Bitwise 2.8 billion, Franklin Templeton 5.6 billion. When you add all these projections up, you get 1 year, 12 funds in total, 39 billion XRP. That's the entire public supply gone in 1 year. Now, will it play out like this? Of course not. There's going to be XRP available to the public, but you can't say that this isn't going to have an effect. It is going to, for sure, drive the value of XRP. You're going to have a lot of people, they want broader exposure, not just to the, Bitcoin and Ethereum. XRP is going to be one of the first options available for people, and it's going to have a dramatic effect over the long term. It's about those sticky investments over a period of time. That's what's really going to matter here. We see Watcher Guru saying, just in, crypto exchange Kraken files for US IPO. So people are saying this is the end. Kraken disagrees. They think this is a great time to go public, raise funds. There's still going to be an appetite out there for their company. That's at least what they are banking on here. Now, this is interesting. Again, how many things start stacking in our favor here? Headlines are emerging that President Trump quietly approved a 28-point peace plan between Russia and Ukraine earlier this week. So this is something, if they could at least get on the road to peace, it's going to be helpful to financial markets, no less the human element. So we'll see how this plays out. I mean, that's a long way. A 28-point plan is a long way from actually having peace, but you're getting on the right direction here, aren't you? That could be great for financial markets, of course. We see this alert that was just put out right before I went to record. Alert: XRP is trading 11% lower on the week, and charts now flag a descending triangle plus bearish RSI divergence, raising the risk of a move down to $1.55. It's all the wizardry of looking at charts and whatnot. Whatever. I don't see a pull down to 155 unless we see a lot of disruption in financial markets and crypto goes down farther. And, you don't need to look at the XRP chart for that kind of stuff. You would just see, again, you look more closely at traditional stocks, the tech sector, the AI trade, and Bitcoin itself. I think that'll tell you where we're going. Yeah, if that stuff crashes, we'll hit 155. But XRP on its own, oh no, that ain't gonna, not with everything that's coming out, all these ETFs, all this bullshit stuff, no way. That ain't gonna happen. See, a lot of people out there posting this chart, and they're trying to show the circular nature of AI and funding. And I saw a lot of people saying this is fraud. I think what this chart is not indicative of fraud. It's really the ruling class of the future, right? Like there's only so many companies that can compete in this arena that have the billions and hundreds of billions of dollars it's going to take to build out this infrastructure. That's what you're seeing. With NVIDIA today, they're like, well, only a handful of companies make up 61% of the revenue. Well, of course. I mean, who else other than Elon and, a few other companies have the kind of money, Microsoft, OpenAI, like there's only so many companies that can buy hundreds of billions of dollars of GPUs. Like that just ain't everybody, right? So I think that's more. This is the oligarch chart of the future, unfortunately, probably is what we're looking at here, not fraud. BlackRock, they're preparing for iShares staked Ethereum ETF. This is good because we've been waiting for Ethereum to take off. And the ETF on its own right hasn't done the trick. I think part of it is if I buy that ETF, I'm losing my ability to earn. And so if I'm not getting those rewards, well, I'm losing out quite a bit. I think this is going to be a popular product. People getting dividends paid in more crypto on a quarterly, biannual, or annual basis, whatever it may be. I think people are going to really like that. It's going to be popular. It's going to be the thing that really gets Ethereum cooking. We'll see it play out, but that's what I think. We want to add staking, not just to Ethereum, but Solana and a lot of these other ones as well. Now, lastly, this is what we wanted to see here. And I see a lot of people out there, they're like, all of a sudden, they're financial statement experts. They're looking at, accounts receivable and inventory. And look, we knew that NVIDIA was going to be lights out. There's no question. They have pre-sold every GPU they've made and every one they will make. This is the question, though. The guidance. Was Jensen going to get up there and scare people and say, well, OpenAI has commitments to us that they may not meet and all this stuff? No. This was the quote that really sealed the deal for us and I think gives us some more runway, which is what we need. He says there's been a lot of talk about an AI bubble. From our vantage point, we see something very differently. That's what we needed to hear right there. They are bullish on the future. They have great guidance going into the future, going in even into next year. That's what we need to hear, that this spend is going to continue because that drives everything. That drives the stock market, crypto, everything. This is the talk we needed, and we got it today. And we'll have to see how the market opens up tomorrow and how crypto responds. But, that was a bullish, of course, earnings. They beat earnings estimates. We knew that was going to happen. But the guidance was solid. He wasn't Mr. Spooky up there saying, well, you don't know. And yet, with a CEO, if it's shaky, they're going to have to tell you, or they're going to go to jail. Like, they're going to tell you what they really think here, at least within, margin of error here. It looks strong. I think this AI boom continues, at least for now. Now, I've always said, never forget, you had the dot-com bubble. Dot-com was huge. The biggest companies in the world are internet companies. But doesn't mean we didn't hit a point where, hey, funding for a while blew up and a lot of companies ended because they didn't have it. And from the ashes arose the winners. That could still happen, of course, with AI. Don't make a mistake, but it ain't happening today. We keep going down this track, and that means more room for crypto to run, in my opinion. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.